Brooke, thank you so much for being here today. This is probably the third time I've had to confess that we've lost the footage and we've had to do yours for a second time. But I feel like we've really been bonding over this experience. So there's something quite nice in it anyway. We had such a beautiful, raw conversation last time, and I'm hoping that in some way we can recreate that level of honesty for the audience, because one of the reasons you wanted to do this was because you have been listening to the podcast and have been getting inspiration from others. And you very kindly said, if I can share my story and help one other woman go, it's okay, it's tough, but it's okay, then that's what you're going to do. So thank you for reliving this again, this moment.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me. And I actually felt quite good about getting a second chance, because I don't feel like, while I most certainly want to bring the kind of just truth and honesty to everything, I don't feel like I gave enough context last time just on how I can get through things. And I feel like that's really important with like the support of my family and my husband and I both working part-time, and I live really close to my mum, and just like really important things that I do feel like in terms of how I can get through having a big job and 3 little kids are really important to how I actually can cope with that on a day-to-day. So I'm excited to be able to do this again and bring that kind of just broader context to it. And also I also have been able to reflect on things even more since we last spoke. So I'm excited to be here today and hopeful that I could help, like I said, to you, any one person. That would be wonderful.
It's interesting, isn't it, how you say, oh, I'm pleased to be back and doing it again, because I follow the same path with every woman as we go through this, right? Before they were on, they're like, are you sure you want me? I received a text from an incredible CEO based down in Melbourne the other day, and I'd asked her to be on the podcast a year ago and never got a response. And she texted me really recently and said, Chloe, I'm so sorry that I haven't responded to you. I just felt so inferior about being on the podcast. Bearing in mind, like, she's probably managing around 7,000 people, the CEO of like a 7,000 people company. And I didn't feel good enough. And therefore I just avoided you and just ignored your messages. And I'm so sorry, because I didn't want to show you any disrespect. And she went, how's that for self-doubt? We had a bit of a laugh about it, but it's so true that that's the format that people follow. And then we come on, we have these great conversations. And then afterwards, the first thing everyone says to me was, is that okay? Or, oh, if I did it again, I'd do this differently. Yeah. And it's almost like part of the journey of kind of going, this is exactly why we're doing this. Yeah. This is exactly why we're going through this journey. And you absolutely did not need to be doing this again, because your first one was absolutely fantastic. And I'm so sorry that we didn't get there with keeping the footage. So let's dive in. So your story, I'd love you to tell the journey of the podcast for you so far, in terms of like our first conversation where you were very honest and open, the podcast itself when you were very honest and open, and the reflection that you've done since then. Please just deep dive for me.
Yeah, sure. So we had our first conversation, and I most certainly beforehand was like grappling with how can I do this for the exact reasons you just mentioned, feeling like I'm most certainly not at the level of all of the incredible women that you've already interviewed so far. But what really kind of motivated me to want to come and talk to you was if there was any opportunity to help anyone who's in a similar situation to me, because I do think that the situation that I am in is an awful lot. And I'll go into that in a minute. But I was not feeling confident about even having that first conversation with you. And then we had that conversation. I cried a lot. You asked me questions that you know, when you have so much on your plate that, and you don't really have time to like actually think about how much things are impacting you, and you just move through the motions, and you're trying to, be grateful and enjoy the time with the kids while they're little, and also like dive into the career that I've worked so hard for, and all of the things all at once. There's no time to really stop and go, wow, this is a lot that I have on my plate right now. And so you asked me questions that absolutely made me feel those things and unpack a lot of that. And it was really helpful for me, because then I had the opportunity to really sit with some of those uncomfortable feelings about myself and me as my own person, and not just as a mum and as an employee. And that then brought me to our recording together. And so I'd had that time in between to have some kind of reflection, and I thought that was really good. I was just really open and honest with you. But since then I've had even more chance to think on things, because you asked me things about like unpacking some of the guilt that I carry. And I've really thought about that, because I hadn't really thought about why I feel like that all the time. Because I had said to you, I carry this guilt in kind of every single way, because when I'm at work, I feel guilty that I should be with the kids. When I'm with the kids, I'm like, oh, I should be doing more for work. And if I try to, see a friend or do anything outside of that, do anything for myself, I think, oh, that's time I could be spending with my kids, or there's just always guilt there. And so thinking about why that is, and I do feel like I have a little bit more insight into that today. So it's been a journey, and you've asked me questions that have really pushed myself to think on things that I think I had been avoiding, really. Just kind of thinking that this is always going to be quite a short-term problem, because it's, for me, a challenge, while the kids are so little, that I want to be there for them as much as I can. And as soon as they start to get a little bit older, so just for reference, my kids are 7, 3 and 1. And once they get that little bit older, because I know once they kind of reach that 5 years old, things do get a little bit easier. So in my head, I was like, just got to get through this. It's just another 4 years. And then while there most certainly be new challenges, the intensity of the needing me, and my role in things will be a little less intense. And so if I can just, get through this and focus on that, and then there'll be time for me and all of that. But I do now think that is unsustainable, even for that short period of time. I felt like I had an end goal and I could do that. But I have been thinking about how I need to take more time for myself, and not feel guilty about doing exercise, just things like that before I still would have felt like, oh, but I should try and have a walk with the kids, so then I'm with them. But actually taking a walk by myself is so much better than I could have imagined, in then coming back to them and feeling more energized and balanced and less chaotic, overwhelmed.
I actually could cry right now, because there's a different woman sitting in front of me from the woman I met. The woman that I met just would never have said, I deserve space for me. And it's almost like every layer, every conversation we've had, we've got to the point of deserving it. Last time you were like, well, I'd like to have it, but I don't deserve it. The first time you hadn't even thought about giving yourself any time. No. It was like, well, of course there's no time for me. Don't be ridiculous. How could you suggest that? Then we got to, well, it would be nice. And now we're at no, I actually deserve that. And this isn't I honestly feel quite overwhelmed of how proud I am. Just looking at you well done. That's amazing.
Thank you.
In terms of you mentioned that you were avoiding it. That's really honest, because I do agree. There was that element of I don't want to face this.
Yeah.
Why do you think that was?
I I think, and I said to you after the interview last time that, what does that actually look like? Is a 1 hour massage, like my mind immediately goes to the, just like things that people do to make themselves feel better or wellness. And for me, I just always said, what is a 1 hour massage a month going to actually do for me? And you had said to me, but it's actually about sitting down and thinking about what will work for you. Right. And that was like, oh, okay, that's fair. That's a good point. So I did. I sat down and I thought, what do I need that? And yes, I still certainly think that there'll be phases. Like I'm not at the point of like feeling like I should just have all this freedom and go everywhere and do all the things. It's at the moment prioritizing exercise and being alone, because like before I seriously would try and take all 3 kids with me and push the pram and have the bikes. And was it more stressful? Yes. Was I still getting exercise? Yes, but it was just as chaotic as life. So taking that time to be alone and be okay with that, and recognizing that that's better for me in being their mum, right? Having that space. But then also thinking about, is it quarterly? It makes it sound like it's a part of a joint business plan, but but quarterly doing something for myself that that I hadn't really thought about before. So I had a half day at a spa recently, just by myself, and it was, thank you. It was delightful, and I was like, yeah, I can do things like this. I should do things like this, and so that is my current little plan. So prioritizing exercise or movement by myself, and something quarterly that will make me feel calm, and then I can already see like some future state things that I think would be really positive too, like maybe like a weekend away with a couple of friends, but I'm not quite there yet, but that's what I'm starting to think about, like what's next as well. So yeah, it's been a long journey of reflection since our first conversation.
I want to talk about I want to get you to the point, by the way, by the end of this call where you're booking that girls' weekend away, because I've got to push you every time, right? Yeah. So we're gonna take something new up. But I do think there's something in my parents spent a lot of time as adults. Not everyone was worrying about each other instead of just worrying about themselves. And one of the things that I just was desperate for my parents to do was kind of take accountability for themselves and look after themselves. Because I thought if everyone was looking after themselves right now instead of worrying about each other, everything would be going a lot better for the individual. Yeah. And I find it really interesting when I'm working with parents now, because as a child who was desperate for their mum to just look after herself, that it's like, I don't think what busy mums sometimes take hold of is how much your kid would want you to do that. Yeah. Like how much it would be like if they could say, what do I want for mummy? When they're older at this age, they'd want to know that you're happy. They'd want to know that you're looking after yourself. And it's like, if you won't do it for you, do it for them, because you're doing everything else for them.
Yeah. I heard this quote the other day, which I think has been part of this for me as well, that said, your kids won't treat themselves how you treat them. They'll treat themselves how you treat yourself. And I was like, that was actually like gives me goosebumps, because that just as part of like the conversations that you and I have had and this kind of reflective journey for me was like, that hit me hard. I like truthfully sat there and sobbed my heart out, because that is I'm not very kind to myself. I do everything for everyone that I can. Sorry. Because I have this drive to just be the best that I can at everything. And that's hard. It is hard.
Is that where that guilt comes from?
Yeah, definitely. When I said that I had thought about that a little bit before, it's feeling like I owe it to them to be a stay-at-home mum. that I should be there with them as much as I possibly can. And then also feeling like this like drive in me of, but you've worked so hard to be where you are at work, and that's my choice then, that I'm choosing work and my career for me over them. And that is a lot of the guilt. Which I do also think comes back to my mum. My mum was a stay-at-home mum, and my mum is just incredible. And just the like limitless of all mums in her love. And we have such fantastic relationships with her now. I live super close to her, like 30 seconds. And she looks after my kids, and she's amazing. But she's my example of what a mum is. The totally self-sacrificing, all in example of the most incredible mum. But that is what I have witnessed and kind of have the expectations of myself, because I want to have the relationships with my children that she has. But then there's the I guess toxic side of that, on the impact that has on her, and then me certainly, because I also have my career and I'm trying to do that as well as she did, and as well as she does, and also have this big job over here. Yeah.
But you're teaching your kids different things. Like, I think that's been one of the things that this podcast has taught me, and getting to have all these conversations, because I'm talking to women who are older and have, much older children, and they've all raised them differently. And they're all like, some of them are like, I gave up work for a chunk of period of time, or, I've pushed and set up my own business, or I'm a CEO now. And they've all done it their way. Some of them have moved their kids abroad. Some of them kept them in the same country. And one of the things I've learned is that's how the kids learn curiosity. That's how they learn resilience. And like, when it comes to parenting, there's millions of ways to get it right and millions of ways to get it wrong. And
absolutely,
there is no, and because of that, there is no right and wrong, right? And having had so many conversations with people where you go, as I would now feel like confident to go into parenting and go, it's going to be a wild ride, but even the things where I consider them to be bad for my kids, I know are teaching them resilience. Like the moments where I move them abroad, that's where I'm teaching them courage to try new things. Like it's so fascinating when you reframe it like that, in terms of like the tougher moments actually build their character and make them who they are, in the same way that when you've gone through hard things in your life, it's made you who you are today. And I feel like the war against mum guilt could be tackled by the sharing of stories of everyone feels like you do in this moment right now, but everyone comes out the other side of it going, well, actually I was a full-time working mum, and now my kids are like, they saw that mummy was able to like hold down a career and like be a badass boss, and you're teaching them that women can do it all. And be capable of having a career. As a stay-at-home mum might be teaching them completely different things, but you're just setting an example. And as long as you love them, I think you'd be surprised how proud they are of you and are going to be of you when you're older and they're older. You know it, don't you?
Yeah.
You're starting to see it.
Yeah. Yes. So the trying to let go of some of that guilt, though, is going to be, it is hard. Yeah. But yes, I know that I am doing the best that I can, and that I need to do some of these things for me. Because one of the things that you also said to me was some of the like older women that you've spoken to whose kids are a little bit older than mine feel on the other side like they don't know who they are. And I can see that being me, continuing it the way I was the way I was going. I'm going to put that behind me now and focus on my new path of trying to make that time. But that obviously that's not where I want to be. So I know that I need to do this. And also just like the level of exhaustion, honestly, that I feel. I went and had a blood test the other day because I was like, there must be something wrong with me. Seriously. I was like, it must be my B12 or my iron, or like I'm so exhausted in my bones. Like it's just, and they came back great, which obviously is great. But I was like looking for something to be physically wrong because I just didn't want to accept that it's because I'm actually just running at, beyond 100%, 100% of the time. So it's still going to be a journey of trying to find the kind of happy place of how it can all work together while I can still feel like I'm doing a great job, because that is important to me in as many areas as I can, but also a great job of looking after myself as well.
I don't think that's going to happen until you truly believe and accept how much that you have on and how it actually isn't possible. I feel like you are one of the people that have been part of a generation that have been sold a dream of you can have it all and do it all and do it all at once and you can smile through it. And I think that the people that we've seen do this are slowly breaking inside, but no one wants to admit it, right? So you're looking at around you going, well, everyone else is doing it. And it's like, our brain hasn't evolved in 2,000 years. We're not set up for this. Like we're operating off machines that are not ready for this world. And I say this with love, but I just think until you are not going to, looking for the doctor to go, there must be something, and actually turn around and look behind you and go, no, there is too much here for one person. And how do I get the support, invest in myself, to use the language of learn who I am? That's when you're going to start enjoying the journey properly. Because I feel like you're dipping your toe in, like, hold on a minute, there might be something interesting.
Yeah, I certainly have a way to go. I know that.
But how exciting. If you keep pushing forward, because that guilt is going to try and pull you back, like those old belief systems of and I love that you're saying that a perfect mum to you looks like your mum, and therefore you've kind of got your blinkers on without unable to see that no, perfect mums can look a million different ways. And I think, I guess a question I had for you around that is there mums in your life where you go, wow, she's raised her kids really well, like outside of your own mum?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Did any of them work?
Yes.
Yeah. Tell me about them.
Yeah, I can think of a few examples of my mum's friends, so kids similar age, and to look at their, because it's for me not just about it's certainly not about the kids' kind of success in life. That's not like the benchmark for me. It's their attitude, their kind of mental strength, so like the resilience and the connection that they have with their mum. They're probably the things that I see as the way that I want to parent my children, so that they have those things, which is kind of selfish, I guess, with the relationship part with me. But that is really important to me. I think that when you have a good mum, they can just bring so much to your life. When you have an excellent mum that has your back and loves you unconditionally, and that's what I want for my kids to feel. So yeah, I can certainly think of examples within my mum's friends, and even my friends who have had kids a little bit younger than me, and so they're more like the early teens, and a lot of them work. It most certainly is not the only path that leads to that in that direction.
Can I ask you to do me a favor? I feel like every time we chat, you have homework.
I know I do, but it's working well for me so far.
I want you to start making a really conscious effort and like actually physically writing this down and recording it around great examples of great mums.
Yeah.
Because what a beautiful story that your mum's such an amazing mum that it's almost like you're so loyal to her that you can't see outside of this is the perfect mum, I must follow this, right? And I just want it a little bit like dating, right? Your mum's not the only one available. Let's peruse Hinge a little bit more in the mum field. And I just want you to start collecting data on like the diversity of great mums.
Yeah.
Because I think, yes, you can say it then like, oh yeah, there is other mums out there. I want you to become a little bit obsessed with looking at it, because I think if you can change the definition in your head, you've got a really core belief of like, this is what a great mum looks like. And actually, if we can expand that for you and you can go, oh, actually, there's like qualities over here, and actually I can learn a little bit of this from this person.
Yeah.
And oh, actually, all great mums don't look the same. I think that will really, I know it sounds like a really basic exercise, but I think it will really help you to physically see in the real world that your mum was perfect, but other mums are perfect too, because being a perfect mum is just about showing up for your kids in the way that you feel best.
Yeah.
And to your point, making sure they know they're loved. Like, that's what it's all about. How that's packaged and how that looks day to day is different for everyone.
Yeah.
Can you do that for me as a
Yeah.
small
That's a really good point.
homework bit? Brooke, how do you, and we'll use 3 words, how do you feel right now? And I don't mean in this moment, but just if you had to describe life, what would be 3 words that you'd use to describe it?
Certainly grateful. Truly. I feel so lucky to be where I am in the position that I'm in, and all the things that I have in life. A lot of the time though, I do feel overwhelmed. And I would say just exhausted.
How do you want to feel?
I'd like to feel, I don't know what the inner word would be, but just that I'm not at full capacity all the time. That is
So balanced?
Yeah. Yep. Certainly still grateful. Keep that one. And I would love to just be able to say I just feel happy.
I'm going to come back to that in a second. And I'm reading between the lines here. I think that your gratitude that you have is feeding into your guilt.
I do too. It's like almost like a toxic gratitude.
Yeah,
I know. Because every time I use it that way too. Like I'll say to myself, now it sounds like I'm in therapy, Chloe, but I use that. Like I'll say to myself, oh my gosh, like this is so much, like I can't do this. And then I'll say, but you have so much to be grateful for. And like I turn it around into this thing that's like, no, don't continue down that path of misery for yourself, because you are in a position you should be so happy, and you should just be so grateful for all the things that you have. I definitely use it against myself. Yeah,
I can hear it in the way you say grateful.
Really?
Yeah, I just picked up on it just in that brief exercise there. And I think if I'm honest with you, you started this conversation at the beginning with me about saying I was avoiding leaning into the reality of what was in front of me.
Yeah.
I think it's your toxic positivity way of continuing to avoid. So that I'm grateful. You can be grateful, absolutely. Like you've got so much to be grateful for. Like I'm not taking that away from you, but I think you're taking it away from yourself in terms of like you're using it as a blocker to go, there's nothing, like it must be something I need to go to the hospital to check, because I'm so grateful for all of this.
Yeah.
But you've also said you're exhausted to your bones.
Yeah.
And we need to continue to, instead of switching to the gratitude so quickly, we need to continue to lean into the pain and the darkness, because that's where we find the light. Like, that's where we find the insight of like, yes, I deserve a weekend away. Yeah. Like, you said to me really early on, you were telling me about your life, and I was like, Brooke, whoa, like that is got a lot. Like, like there's a lot going on there. And I said to you, you've been so complimented about people who have brought you to me and said, you've got to interview Brooke, she's amazing, she's so good at her job. And I said to you, why don't you apply your work life approach to your personal life? So when you just said to me then, that's hilarious, or I have a quarterly, I have a quarterly retreat now with myself, I was like, good, she's applying it. But I feel that you need to take that a step further, and we need to go back to that advice. And actually, if you really lent into, at the moment, your kids, because that's what we've been speaking about, would say, Mum's grateful, but she's using that to hide behind some feelings. She's overwhelmed and exhausted. And all my mum really wants is to feel balanced, grateful and happy. And using that quote that you said that you found the other day, there's an element of going, how do I make that my main goal? Yeah. And really importantly, as you would in work, because you've never let anything slip, hold yourself accountable to it. Yeah. And that's when life is going to get really exciting. Yeah. And you can still have all the beautiful things you have, but without carrying all the pressure and the guilt that goes with it. And I know we're talking we need to talk about this in more detail. Yeah. But balanced, grateful and happy, if that was like your KPI of like these 3 sessions that we've had together, and you really held yourself accountable, like, is this decision making me genuinely grateful, genuinely happy, genuinely balanced, or is it not serving me? Am I people pleasing? Yeah. Am I, hiding behind an emotion that I don't want to feel right now, so I'm going into toxic gratitude rather than genuine, wow, I've got some peace and some reflection time to actually sit in genuine gratitude. Yeah. How do you feel like that as another bit of homework?
Yeah, I definitely see, that as the end goal, and like I am only capable of small steps at this stage, which I do feel like I've taken, and I know that that's where I need to get to. I do feel like there's just a lot that is kind of holding me back, that I need to continue to work through. I absolutely, approaching it like a something I would at work is definitely helpful, because it's, you're right, like that is making sure that things get done and that I'm held accountable, and it is exactly how it operates in my work life. And I just find that so difficult inside.
Well, it's the whole like CEO of our own life, right? Like everyone said, and you kind of like, I love it when I'm reminded of CEO of your own life, because it's so easy to forget. Like there's that element of like moving away from just being busy, just doing, just kind of running on the rat race. And actually, when a great CEO, what would you say? You'd say they're strategic. They don't, they take the time out. They think long-term visionary. Yeah. They've got clear KPIs. Yeah. And it's like, if we apply that to who we are and who we want to be, then we're a good CEO of our own life. Like I'm reflecting on this for me. I'm like, God, I would hate to be described as a bad CEO. Do you know what I mean? Like that would, for me, would be like, oh my God, I'm not good at my job. Like, so if I think of like me being a bad CEO for my own life, I'm like, that offends me more than I haven't got my shit together. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I think there's an interest in, I think I'd love you to play around, and I totally respect what you're saying around like baby steps. But this is going to go live in January. So people will be listening to this and you've got the whole year ahead of you. Yeah. And it's like, if the goal is balanced, grateful and happy, what does Brooke, the CEO of her own life, do to manage that process. I almost see you with an Excel spreadsheet. I feel like you're doing the calculations already. Yeah. But keep leaning in to that, because you have come so far in such a short period of time. And I'm so sorry that we lost the footage, because people would be so grateful for your honesty and your raw, genuine care for other people. Like, just, if we were doing superpowers, like, you have got to be one of the most caring women I've ever met. On the caring thing, our biggest superpower is always our biggest weakness, right?
Yeah.
So if a woman's really strong, it means she pushes herself too much, and she'll burn harder than anyone else because she doesn't stop quick enough. Yeah. Mine is, I'm really good at seeing what other people are good at, but it means I'm blind when it comes. I can meet people and be like, they're amazing, and then it's like, no, like, they're not. So our biggest superpower is always our biggest weakness, and I think that if yours is care, which you don't have to settle on, we don't have to agree this live. But I think there's a deep level of care that you have for everything you do, and you put 110% into all of it. But the flip side of that is you're putting 110% into all of it, and you haven't got that much
anything left
to go
for myself
to go around. So, just a thought. A thought there that I'll leave you with. Thank you so much. Is there anything you said last time you walked away and we hadn't covered everything you want to cover? Is there anything that's standing out to you within that you would like to touch on?
I think just if anyone else is in a similar position where you have so much on your plate that you are going to make mistakes, and I think being able to be okay with that and to just tackle those mistakes head on, and be able to, whether it's apologize for it or what you can do to kind of resolve the situation, but to most importantly learn from it, because that there are things that regularly happen because I'm trying to juggle so many balls at one time that, my daughter missed Crazy Hair Day and she was very upset at school. And, that's just one of the things that the reality is that things just fall down the list and they might enter my brain and then immediately they just can't stick because there's just too much things that are being held on to. So just being able to apologize to her, and then that's just one example, silly example, but I'm sure it wasn't silly to her.
Not silly to you either, because you're bringing it up.
I know, true.
You care too.
Yeah, I do.
Bless you.
So being able to learn from him and grow from there, and also put systems in place. Can I just share one crazy little hack that I didn't think was that crazy, but people keep saying to me, oh my gosh, that's so clever. So things like that, Crazy Hair Day at school, because there is just so many things that come in like that, right? Wear orange shirt day for this thing, wear for school things, even for some work things that I'm like, I cannot forget to do that by X time. I have my phone or my watch, and I'll just say, hey Siri, can you remind me at 10 a.m. that I need to send that thing, or remind me at 7 a.m. that I need to do Rose's hair for Crazy Hair Day. I do that all the time now, and it's just one less thing then that has to stay in my brain, and I'm then being reminded about it. And maybe that's not helpful to anyone, but a few people that have seen me do that are like, oh, that's great. So anyway, if that helps anyone,
I love it.
There you go.
I love it. Thank you so much. I'd love to end on, who's your limitless woman that you would love to celebrate?
In life, I have to say my mum, for all the reasons that I've spoken to. Limitless in her love. But
Limitless in Love, that's a movie. I like it.
And then in a work sense, I would say Paulie Grant, who's our Chief Talent Officer at Publicis Groupe. She is an absolute powerhouse and the type of leader that I absolutely aspire to be. So, yeah. She'd be excellent on here.
Amazing. Thank you so much for doing this twice. We've built a beautiful friendship through this, it's worked out well for us.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.